Hello, people. Hello.
नमस्कार सर. सर नमस्कार. Sir, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
No, whether sir is able to hear because sir, yeah, he's not muted.
Yes, sir, visible.
Are you able to hear me, people? Hello.
Yes, now yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Please give feedback.
You're
Yes,
audible.
sir, now audible. Now audible.
Yes. Okay. That is from Saurabh. Give me the top here. Good evening. We are already 5 minutes late. I see about 16 participants in this one. I was requested to shift my time from 11:30 to 11:30 to 4 today in order to accommodate some additional classes to be taken by some other trainers. I hope you are able to hear me. I have some challenges. I could not join last Sunday because I was traveling on a personal note at my hometown, which is about 250 kilometers away from here. And now I have another challenge, which is health challenge. If you can look at my right side, you'll see a amla here because I have actually gone for a tooth extraction. This was done on the last Thursday, but still the pain is there, and the stitch is there. So I develop some temperature in the afternoons every day. I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow to see why this is happening. I hope you are able to listen to me and you're able to see my presentation.
Yes, sir.
On
Yes.
if you can give me a if you can give me a feedback, I'll be delighted. Yeah. Now, what is it that I want to right? You're audible. That is very good. Suraj Kumarji, thank you so much. Yes, sir, we can hear you. That is Russia Modak. Okay. Can I start or wait for some more people to join? Give me feedback, please. We
Please
have
start, sir.
Pallavi, we have
You can start,
Shonak,
sir. You can start.
Russia,
So we can start.
Lavanya, Apurva, etc. These are the people whom I see on the whose name I see on here. Can you give me feedback as to we can start or we wait for others to join, please?
Please start, sir.
Thank you, Russia. Not able to hear you, that is a problem. I don't know where is the challenge. I am not able to hear you guys, whereas you guys are able to hear me. That at least that's okay. That's okay. Stop video, mute participants usually. On the audio bottom of the left side, connect the device sound, please. It is connected on the audio bottom. On the bottom left. No. No.
Are you able to hear us now, sir?
What do you all say? Anyway, give me a feedback by typing because I'm not able to get anything done on here. I'm trying, but then not able to get to hear from you. So since you're able to hear me, I would proceed. And then on the hope that you're all able to listen to me. And in case there are any challenges, you will be please sending me a message. So I'll go by the message and do any course corrections as it is. Okay. Can somebody actually switch, put the video on and show me this? Okay, so Lavanya, right. Okay, yeah. Vishwadeep, how are you? I had enjoyed chatting with you last time.
Fine, sir. Fine,
Hope
sir.
you'll have
How
lots
are
of
you, sir?
questions this
How
time
are you?
also. Thank you.
How are you, sir?
देखो आपका चश्मा दिखता है आपका इतना ब्रॉड ये है कि हाँ इतना है कि वो दिखता है और चश्मा दिखता है चलो ठीक ठाक no problem I don't have no issues. Now let me see what we did dear friends in the last instance is we almost covered about 50% of the first unit of digital transformation. And two major aspects that I had discussed there is about the pillars, the 6 pillars. And the second one that we touched upon where we stopped was the McKinsey framework that is called 7S model of the digital transformation. So these are the two things that motor terms, in bigger terms that we have touched upon. Otherwise, I must have done a lot of gas in terms of trying to trying to go with whatever I had actually communicated. Now, uh, digital, see, first of all, in fact, we discussed this in the beginning itself. Training is all about creating or bringing in transformation. Now, unfortunately, technology has grown so much that we also have to now look at digital transformation. And without the digital aids, whether it is business, whether it is academia, whether it is activities, whether it is job and whatever that you count, without the technological assistance, we are not able to bring in huge impactful changes. And therefore, in here also, we have to resort to understanding those digital transformation that we have to bring about when we do the training or when we consult organizations to do the training management. Most of the people who are sitting in front of me are experienced people, I presume. So in case you have to go and talk to the bosses of organizations where you have to bring in, you have to start a training or your startup transformations, unless and until we speak sense, unless and until we place the facts before them, and unless and until we tell them how much of a digital technology transformation that they have to go through. And if you are not aware of it, or if you are actually weak on this, we will find it very difficult to get our training transformations effective. So that is something that we have to bear in mind. And that is the reason by which people like me are invoked to come and do the training to you people. Because we have worked in the digital scenario, we have worked in, see, fundamentally, as I've told you last time also, I'm not a trainer per se, but I enjoy teaching. I am an entrepreneur. I have about 5 companies. But then I have been part of ISTD for more than about 50 years because training is all about bringing in transformation. So I'm very enamored by ISTD, though I hate the politics of ISTD. At the same time, having given this opportunity, this is not something that I had asked for, but then since the national president, Miss Chauhan has told me that to do this, I thought, okay, I'll do the first three modules of it. And one part of it happened in the Sunday that was last Sunday. And the other thing is happening where I have accommodated the time with someone else. Now, these 4 pillars, we have discussed this. I will just touch upon this to go further. Okay. No, but the most important thing, see, we can give customer experience. We have to think in terms of giving customer experience, positive customer experiences. We have to look at people and not technologies. We have to be adaptive to the changes. I will discuss this once again. We have to bring in innovation to the core, and we have to show extreme high level of leadership, and bring in a total different culture for digital transformation within organizations. So it is not. It is actually very easy said than done. My reading is that very many people who try to effect this digital transformation in companies and organizations and institutions, they are not able to bring in the totality changes. That is because there are many areas where there are gaps. And there are also many areas where the person, that is the consultant or the trainer or the coach or the mentor, who is trying to bring in all these changes, is not completely conversant with how we actually collate or integrate the digital tools and digital technologies in order to bring in the totality changes within the organization. Now, I have told you last time also that, in any organization for that matter, you bring in everything. You bring in innovation, you bring in people, you bring in technology, you bring in change, you bring adaptive, this, that, etc. But if you're not able to change the culture, because see, while you're actually bringing in a digital transformation culture or a digital culture, this is almost about 180-degree different from whatever that has happened in the organizations earlier. You have seen in COVID times, we did not lose years, but then we had actually gone through the studies in online mode. And when COVID went off, or to the extent when COVID went off, we went back to either hybrid learning or we went into offsite learning. So all these changes we have been able to incorporate, but the changes that we brought through technology are so tremendous that without which we cannot actually bring about these changes or these transformations. So culture is the key. You as consultants, you as coaches, you as mentors, you as trainers, you as teachers, you as the all-in-all who is trying to bring in changes within an organization, are not able to bring about the cultural transformation of the people. Now, cultural transformation, if you really look at it, is sum total of all these things. Okay. And we all know that in organizations, particularly in large organizations and particularly in government organizations, where status quo runs, status quo, whatever it was, they would like to run it the same way. And digital brings about 180-degree changes. 180-degree changes means something which is north, going north has to go south. So 180-degree changes when the digital brings about it. And people resist the change, saying that, we can't undergo this change. It is painful a change. It is very difficult to learn to change, and we can't undertake this. Then things get stuck. So that is the key. Now, so how do we actually? So first of all, to bring in that culture, we need to really bring in adaptive changes actually. And how to bring adaptive changes, how to become more flexible, more adaptive to the transformation. And in an organization or a company or a institution where people belong to the old school of thought and वो कहेंगे कि हम अंग्रेजों के जमाने की जेलर हैं, हम नहीं सुधरेंगे, and that sort of an attitude they're showing, then you'll find it extremely difficult to do it. So first of all, we need to start with adaptability as the core of bringing about the changes. Now, how do you bring in adaptability? You have to actually make people open-minded. That itself is a big job. People who are close-minded, people who are used to certain practices, people who are used to certain way of doing things, they will not want to change. They say, no, hame aise karna hai. We want to do it that way. We want to go back to that, what we are doing. So you need to really open up their mind. Now, how will people open up their mind? People will open up their mind. People will want to change the mindset only when they are largely benefited by the change. And if you're able to convince these people that we are able to bring large quantum of changes within your organization, okay, in order to achieve that, you have to be open-minded. We have to change our mindset, and we have to be adaptive, and then only we can actually complete, or then only we can achieve these transformations. Still, there will be naysayers, and still there will be people who will try to reject you. But at the same time, you need to continuously harp on the benefits that each individually derive, groups derive, organization derive. Say, for example, if you are telling the organizational chief executive officers or CXOs, we call it CXO, X is a variant, either CEO or CFO or CTO or CMO or CHRO, etc. Put together, we call them CXO, where X is a variant. So when we tell these CXOs that, by changing or by bringing in these changes, and also while bringing in these digital transformations within this organization, your productivity is going to go up, your profitability is going to go up, the method of you doing business is going to be much more simple, your market is going to expand. You may instead of being a specific territory-based business to a country-based business or a global-based business, etc. And these benefits are going to immensely benefit the organization that they are part of. Then they will try to move their body. So once at the top, and secondly, please understand, these level cultural changes and adaptivity, you cannot bring from bottom up. You can only bring from top down. So unless and until your top people, where you're trying to bring in come in as a consultant or a mentor or a trainer or a teacher or a professor or whatever, bring in these changes. Unless you're able to sell it to them, and unless these people at the CXO level are able to understand the benefits that the organization is going to derive. Give an example. So I think we will discuss this in the end again. See, just look at this, this company called Domino Pizza. Okay, Domino Pizza was established in 1960. And if you know, 1960, there was no internet, or by the time there was no internet and there was no online businesses. So either people have a telephone orders or your mail orders, or people walk in and bought, or all sort of things were happening. Market was limited, products was limited, product delivery was limited, process efficiencies were limited. Now that company actually underwent a major transformation by 2007, 2008. And it combined technology, marketing, and pizzas. Please understand. Technology, marketing, and pizzas together to grow from something close to $5.6 billion, $5.6 billion US dollars to 9.6, almost doubled, $9.6 billion US dollars with larger profitability, larger revenue, and larger reach. So now today, if you look at it, Domino Pizza is 100% digitally transformed organization. There, you don't have these analogous methods, or you don't have this the period stuff running. Everything is digital. There is limited papers. Everything is online. Things are happening. So I just gave an example. You may have your study materials contain about 3 or 4 major case studies which you may read. That will supplement your training process as you go and do it. I just took up one called Domino Pizza to give you this thing. In the 60s, they were just a pizza delivery company with limited possibilities. Now look at Domino Pizza, about $10 billion US. It's a large number. Okay, that is 10,000 million US, and you need to put the zeros and other things and then multiply with 85 to make it Indian rupee equivalent. Then you know what is the value that is. So now, unless and until the people at the top has envisaged these changes, or unless and until people at the top had said that, okay, we will have to undergo these changes, the company or Domino's would not have shifted or changed at all. That is what. So in order to bring in the change to culture, in order to bring in the transformation, you have to make everybody adaptive, but that adaptability has to start from the top and where people did. Now, as you come down to departments, as you come down to functions, as you come down to individuals, these benefits has to percolate down to individual level. Okay. Now, if somebody says that, okay, I'm going to bring in digital transformation that is going to make 100 jobs redundant, do you think that you'll be able to successfully make a digital transformation in the company? No. Because people who are working the organization, if they feel that 100 people are going to lose a job because technology is going to come, do you think that they will cooperate with you? No, they will not cooperate with you. So you have to understand that how the benefit has to be portrayed, how the benefit has to be reflected, and how each individual, each department, each function, and the organization benefit by undergoing this transformation, by becoming adaptable. Then only you can actually bring in the digital transformation to the organization. Now, there is another way of looking at it. That is what you have to understand. You may be great trainers. You may be very animated trainers, or you may be very, very example-centered trainers, or you may be trainers who can deliver great experiential learning. But today, if you are not using technology for that change to happen, you are not going to be successful. 100%. It is guaranteed. So now all that we are saying, when ISCD started this, today I think 88th or 89th batch is running. So some 40 years back, when they started the training diploma program, okay, what was taught was completely different from what is taught now. Lots of changes has been undertaken and lots of changes has undergone. But one single important ingredient that has gone into the training aspect is digital technology. And without which, none of you will be able to bring in the changes as you want in the organization. So that is something that you have to bear in mind. And to that extent, you have to make it adaptive. And this adaptability has started from the top. Okay. Now, there are so many people that we come across having huge ego. Okay. People who are not mindful. People who do not want to get out of their comfort zone. People who do not want to open up. People who doesn't have problem-solving skills. Now, here, in adaptability, problem-solving skills are very important criteria. Problem solving happens when you need to we need to cut down the problems into various elements and then look at it in totality, look at it in separately as well as in totality. And then you will be able to arrive at possibilities of solutions. And with that solution that you should be able to bring about the fundamental thing about all this, fundamental thing of all this thing is the benefit that you can derive for that organization by you doing it. And if that benefit that you cannot quantify or you cannot convince, your endeavor is not going to be successful. So that is something that let us bear in mind. Now, the second element I have shown here is innovation. There are many other things, experiences, innovations, etc. Now, today, globally, it is said that you innovate or you perish. That is, if you don't innovate, you die. So innovation has become a very, very critical element of the whole transformation. Now, how do you bring about this innovation? Innovations are of many types. There is what you call gradual innovations. There is quantum innovations. There is smaller innovation that is being put into. Today, technology has brought in real quantum jump in the innovation arena section. See, I do mentor lots of startups in Kerala. In Kerala, we have something close to about 3,000 plus registered startup as per the Startup India program. And I must have met at least about 2,000 of them, and I must have worked with them for 1,000 of them, and the rest of some of them, regularly we are in touch. So now, when I look at the solutions that these people are trying to bring about, when I look at the technology that they're trying to convert into a product, or when I use the technology that they're using to bring about a product change, all that when I look at it, without technology, these 3,000 companies that I look at, it is practically dead and gone. Maybe there may be some agriculture companies or agriculture or some genetic company, even there, even in genetics or genomics, huge technology applications are required. So without these changes, without this technology being applied, all these startups, all these early ventures, all these SMEs, they will find it extremely difficult to progress and to profit. So that is another thing. So innovation, if you don't innovate, you perish. So how do you bring about this innovation is another important criteria, exactly similar to how do we bring about this adaptability. We said open-minded, no ego, okay, problem-solving skills, etc. Similarly, if you really look at it, innovation. Now, since I don't see much of people here in front of me, my screen is limited. I am seeing myself. So I'm putting my knuckles in front of you like this. Now, people who are sitting in there, if you watch, what are you seeing? You're seeing my knuckles. You just see the knuckles and the fingers. But actually, my this hand has multiple elements. So suppose somebody from this side, he will be only seeing the thumb. Somebody from the bottom, he will be seeing the concave part of the fingers, the crossing, that is it, the concave part of it. Somebody from this side, you'll see that the hand extending down, and this side I protruded this thing. Now, so I can definitely say that my hand that I'm showing in front of you can be described in 5-6 different ways, isn't it? Okay. Now I'm showing a glass that is I'm showing in front of you. You can describe this in multiple ways. Glass full of water, half empty water, glass. Okay. Many other things can be said about this. So what I'm trying to say is that when you want to really bring about innovation, innovation is all about seeing things in different perspectives. So innovation is not something that you are born with. Innovation is something like a skill that you gain. In fact, there is this element of creativity, because they say the right side of the brain, that is where creativity, innovation, etc. rests. The left side of the brain is mathematics and systems and processes. So the right side of the brain where creativity does exist. Okay. And lots of people are born with the right side brain being very charged. So we see very fantastic actors, fantastic dancers, fantastic singers, fantastic like the Kishore Kumars of the world, and like the Mrinalini Sarabhais of the world, and like those people, like those footballers that we see, and like those cricketers, Virat Kohlis of the world. And we see and we check in them as to what is that make them tick. It is that creativity element that makes them tick. So, but that is a talent that they are born with. That does not mean that you cannot be creative and you cannot be innovative. Creativity is a base of innovation. From the base of creativity, innovation starts. But innovation is looking at things in different perspective, like thinking differently out of the box, thinking from different multiple perspectives, etc. And then thinking with positivity. If I'm going to show you a hand like this in front of you, you say, oh, that is a bad set of hands that you're showing. Kya fayda hai? I'm not, I don't expect you to basically understand any perspective on this. But if you're actually going to see that, okay, this is only one side of it, let me look at it positively. So the positivity element is highly critical for innovation. So unless and until you bring about positivity in the organizations that you're going to work with, train, or bring about the changes, you will not be able to make them creative and make them innovative. Now, I always say creativity and innovation a little differently, because creativity is something like a talent also exists. But innovation as a skill, you can learn. And innovation as a skill, you learn by thinking from outside the box, by looking at different perspectives, and by being positive about things. And that is what. One day I was in a class. I think it was an LKG class, the first standard class. So I went to the board, I took the chalk, I just made a big white circle there. So I asked the students, what is this? I was amazed by these 4-year, 5-year people who had been giving answers. Actually, I think 10 people gave me 10 different answers. So that says that there is an ability to look at it differently. There is an ability to express about it differently. And that ability is what gives you the innovation ability. So positivity, then there's a third element. If you try to look at things complex manner, innovation will never come. You have to really, if it's like, up to both look, there's about 21 people there. I'm sure many people would have taken the jalebi. The guy who makes a jalebi in front of you, he makes it in such a way, it's a physical way of making jalebi. And you cannot take jalebi and make it into a straight line. You understand that, right? The jalebi cannot be taken out and make it into a straight line. But if I'm able to actually take it into multiple pieces and look at it differently and saying that this way I can actually make it, I'm actually seeing different possibilities. And that also, so complexity does not give innovation. Okay. Negativity does not give innovation. High perspective or different perspectives gives you multiple innovation. Looking at things from differently gives you innovation. So this innovation, with your experience, आपका तजुर्बा, with your experience and with your skills, okay, you can bring about those innovative changes in the organization that will help to a large extent bring about digital transformation in the organization. Now, as a leader, how do you deliver this customer experience and the leadership in the organization? The one pillar. I have looked at both customer experience and the leadership. Now, I was actually recently, I was looking at a scenario. There is this showroom called M&S. What is M&S? It's a show. It's a British brand. Shirts,
Marks and
pants,
Spencer.
dresses, etc. I buy my white shirts from there. Mark and Spencer. So my son-in-law has a little fatter side. So he told me, Dad, will you buy me about 3 white shirts? That is about 45 size, 44, 45 size. Now, when I went there, I found such choices are very, very limited. Whereas 40, 41, 38, 39, etc., multiple choices, multiple colors, multiple sizes, slim mode, out extra fit mode, etc. is available. So what I looked at is, when I looked at, I found that actually the guy who is an obese guy, the guy who is on a fatter side, when he comes to shop in M&S, I'm sure he is not delivering, he is not deriving larger customer happiness there. He is not delivering, he is not deriving good customer experiences there. Because the choice is limited. And the people, and as it is, if a fat guy walks into a showroom like M&S, everybody look at him as if, he's from Mars or somewhere else. So he wouldn't experience, he wouldn't joyfully experience the buying process in an M&S showroom. So what if somebody starts a showroom where only higher sizes shirts and pants and apparels are brought in of multiple brands and probably their own brand. That means, they can bring in this in under one roof and give such fun-centric customer experiences to them so that the guys will lap it up and they will visit you after and again. Another example that I can give to you guys is, I'm sure you must have seen Decathlon. I saw somebody writing in here. Let me see what is it that you have written, because I don't. Mark and Spencer, thank you. Razia, thank you very much. Okay. Sometimes, old man, forget the names. Okay. Anyway, so one company called Decathlon. Now, you must have seen Decathlon in almost all major cities in the country. Okay. Mostly either it is as a franchise it runs or otherwise it runs. You look at people who flock into Decathlon, whether it is football, whether it is cycle, whether it is uniform, whether it is dress, whether it is this, whether it is that, whether it is pullover, whether it is ball, whether it is whatever. Because they have the freedom to go see it, kick it, drive it, ride it, wear it. Okay, all sorts of things. So this becomes an immense customer experience for the people who will come again and again, which is not the case with some other showrooms. So if you're able to deliver such wonderful customer experiences, okay, and if you also make the place, okay, a wonderful place for the employees to work, fun-centric environment for the employees to work, your leadership is going to be successful in bringing about the changes. So it is very, very critical for you to realize that whether you're delivering customer experiences or whether you're delivering leadership to your own wards, you need to do it in such a manner that they enjoy it. They are delighted by it. And that delight And that experience actually brings about this transformation. So I've generally touched upon all these changes, all these transformation elements. But one thing is very certain. If you are not able to bring about a major change in the culture of the organization, okay, a digital transformed culture in the organization, you are again going to be zilch and zero. So that you have to understand. And technology today is a major tool to bring about not only digital transformation, but also overall transformation in organizations, institutions, companies, and corporates. Okay. Now, let us now get into the next one. Oh, what happened? Stop share? No, this screen share stop share. What happened? Something screen share. Just tell me if the screen is visible. Yes, thanks, Mr. Deep. Thank you very much. Yeah, oh, you are my angel. So, kabhi to aise karte jao. You are the only one available in front of me. Angel, okay, right. Okay. So let us now get into the second element that is the innovative process that what McKinsey has brought about. Now, there are about two types of innovation processes that we have discussed about innovation. We are coming to the innovation process to understand it deeply. Because without this innovation process that you bring about in the organization, you will not be able to bring in huge transformations inside the organization. So there is a hard element that is a system, structures, and strategy. Strategy is what strategic means it is long-termish in nature. Okay. In fact, please understand, a tactic is a short-term strategy and a strategy is a long-term tactic. Please understand. So whenever I say strategy, it is long-term. Whenever I say tactic, it is short-term. Both tactic and strategy are fundamentally strategy in nature. Okay. Now, so you bring about the strategy. You prepare the strategy. You may bring in consultants. You may bring in your own experiences. You may bring in so many other things from outside and all over the place to bring the strategy. Once you create the strategy, then you look at the structure. Earlier, people in causal organizations, there is organization which actually went by the money and the resources to begin with. They created structure first and then created the strategy later. But today, in transformatory organizations, wherever you look at it, first is strategy, and strategy ke baad mein they create the structure. So strategy, structure, and the systems and processes are the hard factors about the organization. Okay, this is much thought about, much discussed, and much iterated. Okay, much implemented and reiterated and implemented and reiterated. So these elements are, because these three are very important ingredients of innovation processing. But what is more important than the soft element as well as the cultural element is the other four. Okay, if you have an organization where people don't have shared values, if you have an organization where people are in their own silos, okay, this guy think like this and this guy think like this department think like this and another function thinks like this, and there is no integrated approach towards the goal of the organization. There is no integrated objective for the organization. In such organizations, the shared values will not come about. And if the shared values will not come about, in spite of the best of the structure, best of the strategy, and best of the systems, you will not be able to bring about changes. So you as a great consultant probably would have spent a lot of time, energy, money, etc. in preparing the hard facts, but you have failed to implement it because you have not been able to bring in the shared values within the organization. You have not been able to bring in that style that is required to change. You have not been able to train the staff and work with them to make it beneficial to them, to make them participatory. And you have not added those skills that is required in today's world. Okay, skill that is required in today's world to bring about the changes. These hard structures, these hard elements, which is system, structure, and strategy, will be of no use. So it is a very balanced approach of hard elements such as system. I would rather say strategy, system, and strategy, structure, and systems, and the soft elements of shared values, style, staff, and skills. Now, but somebody will ask me, sir, 1 second, let me see, I see some comments, because since nobody is able to talk, it's the same slide. I said, thank you. Okay, very good. Yeah. So when you say that without the shared values, see, you are not able to bring up, see, we need to understand that what are all the skills that is required to change about, what are all the staff changes that is required, what are all the shared values that we need to incorporate, and how we change the style. Is style money? That is what is, see, there is two things. One is called substance, the other is called style, or the content and the way by which you do it. Okay. Now, today, in today's world, in this 21st century, and in this world of social media, in this world of online media, in this world of internet, in this world of being online, style matters as much as substance. There were times when style did not, you never needed to look at the style aspect in a large way. But today, because everybody is viewing everything, everybody is seeing everything, everybody is reflecting everything, everybody is broadcasting everything. So style has become as important as substance. That is, style has become as important as content, and that along with the shared values, and that along with the positive transformation that the staff is able to bring about, and the new skills, which is your baby, the new skills that you're able to incorporate, put together, you're able to, this is called the McKinsey model. And see, I'm not actually training or teaching with respect to you passing the examination or you will write the exams. I'm just trying to bring it about, telling that, okay, these are the things that you should bear in mind when you go into these frameworks should be kept in mind when you go to actually discuss with companies and institutions and corporates to bring about the changes. It is not a hard and fast that you go by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you go to organizations, sometimes you may see that they may have a good structure and strategy in place, but there are certain things missing. So you will not be going and harping upon the structure and strategy. Instead, you will be looking at other elements to bring about the change. So, but at the same time, as per the McKinsey's review, or as per the McKinsey's framework, these are the 7 things. 3 of them are hard and 4 of them are soft to bring about innovation process within the organization. So that is what I had already discussed this last time, but then again, once again, I'm spending a little more time to tell you about the importance of innovation and how to bring about the changes. Okay. Now here we say about, this is a recap. What is digitization? I'm not going into that. What is digitalization? Things are digitized, using that is digitalization. And digital transformation is using all those tools, latest tools and power, all those things to bring about huge transformative changes within the organization. Already discussed. We discussed about the 6 pillars. We discussed about the 7 strategies and how do we bring about the changes in the organization. We go forward. Okay, we go forward. Okay. Okay. Now, this is the digital transformation and the innovation process. We discussed about innovation. We discussed about the innovation process. We discussed about the McKinsey innovation process in the last case. Now, this is about how you implement things. Again, it is not hard and fast that you go from 1 to 2 and 2 to 2, 3 and 3 to 4 and 4 to 5. It all depends upon what type of an organization that you're actually going to partake in bringing about these changes in the organization. So sometimes you may start from the middle, sometimes you may start from the beginning, sometimes you start from the end. All that depends upon what organization and what situation that you're facing in the organization. But suffice to tell you that these are generally the assumed lines of bringing it. That is alignment between the goals and the outcome. Of course, if you are actually consulting an organization to bring about transformation, both training transformation as well as digital transformation in the organization, you will need to sit with them and to identify what are all the goals that they have and what is the outcome that they are expecting. In fact, these days outcomes are much more important than the goals. You see, to some extent they may be the same, but in all extent it is not completely the same. Okay. Now the outcome could be kicking out a competition from the market. So, but we may say that we will do, let's say, 2,000 crore turnover. So that may be the goal. So while outcome and goal can be synonymous and interchangeable, there are differences between outcome and this thing. So today, people, organization, bosses, CXOs, etc., they would like to get that outcome happen. Okay. So when you consult an organization, when you talk to an organization, when you work with an organization, you find out, how do you align the organization goals and its outcome. Okay, the objectives. I think I am not going to get into that seriously, but let me tell you this: that you have your vision, you have your mission, your policies, your objectives, your goals, all those things that you will actually arrive at. Okay, then you bring that strategy about it, and then put them together. Now, while putting them together, you also will have something called what is the outcome that you require. The outcome could be department wise, outcome could be independent individual wise, and outcome could be organization. So that is what is the first part of it. But maybe there may be a case that you're going into a company where this must already have been done by the CXOs and the company. So they'll tell you, boss, hum to ye kara hua hai. This is already done, but this is what we want. Can we proceed from here? Possible. So you have to look at it accordingly. Okay. The second is evaluate this. Okay, evaluate this alignment. Now, there may be a plan A, there may be a plan B, there may be a plan C, there may be a strong plan, or there may be a course correction plan. You may have a plan, then you will try to bring in these changes because sometimes organizations are so dynamic that you'll say we will go with this and we'll keep bringing in the dynamics, bringing in other dynamics into the organization and work about. But suffice to say that you need to evaluate your plan. You need to evaluate what is the outcome that you require. You need to see that this alignment is correct. And once it is done, you have to get the endorsement from the CEOs and the bosses and the leaders of the organization. Without this, you can't actually bring about a change. So many often you become very enthusiastically high that you go about and say, sir, ma'am, balaunga. So then you think that, okay, you will go about and do this, but please have a buy-in from the organizational bosses before you go into get into that. Now, in that buy-in, please understand, my dear friends, in that buy-in, there is an element of finance. Many often that I had seen, people when they go to consult training and consult changes that they want to bring into the organization, they will say everything, but they will not put a price on that. Now, so this guy, the customer, may think that, okay, kitna lagega, how much it will cost? I will tell you in the course of time. That's a very wrong thing to do. You need to actually work it out. You need to really go by the hours and time and IPs that you're going to spend in this. And you need to cost them. You need to put them the margin, or you need to cost them opportunistically. There are different costing structures available. And then give it to them and say, this is you take their endorsement both from the outcome and alignment, as also the money. If you don't do that, you're going to be the loser. So the endorsement not only has to be on the plan, but also has to be on the money that you require to get this plan implemented. I hope that is clear to you. Many of us, are very, lots of us are very, good people. We are very good people. So we don't look at the money element of it, and we don't look at the cost element of it. We'll say we will do it. And when the money doesn't come, things, situation and relationship sour, and then it becomes a very bad scenario. The third one is, now invest in creating the culture. Now, this is where the soft aspects come in. When you invest in creating the culture means, how do you actually want to go? Adaptability is there. Okay. People's experiences are there. Leadership trainings are there. All those things, creating a culture that is required to meet the organizational goals and outcome. Okay. So that is very critical. Which investment means this is where actually you are getting your paisa vasool. Investing in creating the culture is where you getting your paisa vasool, because that is where you get the money. And this is what you are going to bring about. Please understand. So when you want to bring about this, you need to really look at it. See, it is not always possible by a trainer to attempt everything. Suppose, let us say that you had gone there and you had seen that there are some technological changes that need to be brought about. Say, for example, you were actually trying to train, you are trying to train a bunch of salespeople. There are about 15, 20 salespeople, sales executives, and sales supervisors that you're asked to change. But when you went there, you realize that this company doesn't have any system of processes. It doesn't have a CRM. It doesn't have a Salesforce automation. It doesn't even have a good, a guy who knows good Excel sheets. Now, if you want to bring about the change in the organization without a proper CRM in place, or a Salesforce automation in place, or a ERP in place, this is not going to work out. Definitely not going to work out. So for that, they need to invest. CRM doesn't come cheap. And CRM, customer relationship management software, depending upon what type of business that you are in, it varies from, prices varies and the software varies. So if you have to bring about that, if you have to bring that tool there, Or let's say you say that, okay, you are training a bunch of financial executives who have just come out of colleges after the BCom, MCom, and you want to train them. But these blighters do not know Excel sheet at all. So you need to really train them. Do you think that you're going to train the Excel? You may not be. You may not be able to do it. You may be able to consult. You may be able to look at the major changes that you can bring about. But you need a guy who knows Excel very well to bring him to do the changes. That is an investment that is required. So हर चीज हमसे नहीं हो पाते हैं. We can't be doing everything together. But we can actually have the alignment with people, organizations, and change agents, bring them there. And that investment has to happen. That is the third element. The fourth element is, agility, adaptability, flexibility, and agility. Okay. See, if you want to bring about the changes in 5 years, do you think that is going to help you? Is that going to help the organization? Not at all. Today, organizations are, what is the short term? What is the long term of organization? Maximum 3 years. Companies are making plans for 3 years. There were times, in fact, if you really look at it, India, when started, Jawaharlal Nehru wanted a 5-year plan. We went by first 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, third 5-year plan, fourth 5-year plan. Today, do you think with the changes, the technology, the movements, etc., the dynamicity that is happening around us, these 5-year plans are going to be that successful? No. So your long term gets reduced. Your 5-year gets reduced to 3-year, 3-year gets reduced to 2-year, 2-year gets reduced to 1 year, etc. So within that time, you have to bring about these changes. Let's say a particular solution that you brought about and a product that you brought about, and you have started selling the product, and suddenly 1 year later, the complete technology of the product changes. Your product becomes obsolete. Do you think that you will be able to find a market for that? So these are the things that you should be able to look at, that agility, that flexibility, that adaptability, okay, in handling the change. So that is where today people talk about multitasking, multi-threading. People are taught about, if you have a chain A, link A, B, C, the B should know what is in A and what is in C. The C should know what is in B and what is in D. So the people have to get an overall picture about the organization. Okay. They have to get the overall picture of the organization. They have to understand how these changes are going to happen individually and together. So the agility or the flexibility and adaptability to happen much faster has to be focused upon. You cannot be bringing in changes in 5 years and 10 years. Please understand. At the same time, now let us say that the government of India, we have this Khelo India Khelo thing, The Khelo India Khelo thing, what I understand from the minister is that across the country, they're trying to find out talent, both our own indigenous games and also global games. Now, the minister says that by some time frame, he would like to bring in the champions. Now, there are 2-3 elements that you look at it. There are in some areas we are good. Cricket, we are good. Shooting, we are good. Archery, we are good. Hockey, we are good. Wrestling, we are good. Weightlifting, we are good. So these are all play areas. Tennis, we are good. So these are all areas we have actually accomplished at a level of global standard. But when you come into, let's say, a 100-meter dash or a 200-meter dash or a 400-meter relay or a steeplechase, etc. These are all the areas where our athletes are very, very weak. But so you have to prepare them, train them. You have to give them the food. You have to give them the diet supplements, and you need to work. In such cases, a 5-year time frame is okay. But today, corporates are not looking at 5-year time frames. Corporates are looking at 2 to 3 year time frames for these changes to happen. And therefore, agility, flexibility, and focus is a very, very critical element of that. Okay. Going to the fifth one, iterative approach for the digital transformation blueprint. Okay. Now, iterative itself is self-meaning. It says you keep doing it, correcting it, course correcting it, doing it, course correcting it. So you have a plan, you put it into action. You found that in that plan, some 2-3 elements need to shift. So you shifted that, you put in a new element in that place. Okay. That is a course correction that you actually bring about. And that is the iteration that you bring on that. So one iteration over, second iteration over, third iteration happens, you know that, okay, to the extent possible, 90-95%, we are actually coming to the real process of doing that. Okay, so that is the iterative approach, which again has to happen faster, which can be done in 5 years and 10 years. And of course, now the last element, that is investment in innovative and immersive solution. What is immersive means? You are experientially getting it done. Now, in fact, immersive, when we speak about, immersive is an element that comes into training. immersive learning that they say. In universities and colleges, engineering colleges, etc., what the student undergoes is called immersive. And when in online, what happens is, sometimes you may go experiential learning, sometimes you may go non-immersive level of learning as well. So investment in innovative and immersive solutions are also critical. So all this put together is where we actually try to bring in the innovation process. So you have talked about the innovation process. We have talked about innovations. We have talked about innovation processes, and we have talked about how to implement the strategy for implementing the innovation process. It may not always be that you will go from 1 to 6. There may be areas that you go. Some of them may be half done by some people and left behind. So you may have to start from there. Or somewhere already they have done to 1 and 2 and 3. So you have to start the next, third and fourth element, depending upon that. But the fact of the matter is that you should be aware of that. You should be aware of this implementation process so that you will know what to do. Going forward. Again, it's about the journey that we are actually talking about. Now, here they had mentioned elements, to stay agile. Agility, I have already discussed it. The flexibility and the fastness that you bring about in organization. So there is, first is the business as it is. Second, you're making present and active, how you are able to enhance the training using digital means to bring it. I had some visitors, so I got my attention a little got broken with it. I'm sorry about that. Then you formalize the training and other element, make it strategic, that is long term in nature, and make them converge. Okay, so that everything is in the right place, and establish those innovative. So this is. They call it agility or agile journey that which you do in organization. Okay, starting from how it was, bringing in those changes. Okay, formalizing those changes, strategizing on the changes, converting the changes and reiterating and converting, so iterating and converting on the changes, and then bring in that innovation and adaptability within the organization. We've discussed about this in length. This is just another form of actually explaining this to you. So I'm going to the next one. Next slide, please. Okay. Now this is again here. I had seen that this is a slide that is prepared by ISTD based on the content that it was. Now at the same time, so you have seen, and based on the content that they had prepared, they had mentioned many roles in bringing about digital transformation in organization. That is bringing about digital transformation roles actually. Okay. So there multiple designations are mentioned. You have digital product managers, digital adoption managers, digital transformation specialists, and chief information officer. Now, chief information officer, sometimes in an organization, they also can be a chief technology officer. I think, it depends upon what sort of a designation that people put up. So a chief technology officer or a chief information officer is a CXO man in charge of bringing about the transformation in the organization, particularly in the digital transformation, because technology adaptive changes that you have to bring. And under him, there are different specialists. So there could be a transformation specialist, there could be an adoption specialist, there could be product managers who bring about what are the changes, how do we actually converge the training methods. So, and all this work about. But see, when you work in SME organizations and when you work in smaller organization, sometimes you may see that everybody will be turned into one guy. Sometimes you may see that all these 4 or 5 will be actually 2 guys. And somewhere you see that they have nobody, where you may have to actually bring in people from outside as per your contract. So it all depends upon from organization to organization as to how you bring about this. But as a method and as a structure, or as an explanation, they are telling that, okay, from ISCD, when they prepared this content, they are telling that, okay, these are all the people that is required to bring about the changes in the organization, because, so one thing is very clear. See, digital transformation cannot be brought about by a normal guy who doesn't understand digital technologies. So to that extent, it is very clear. Let's say a finance guy who is very good, he's a chartered accountant, or he's a ACCA, or he's an MBA finance, or something like that. Now, Maybe he may be aware of the technological changes and technologies, but he may not be able to go detail into the technologies. He may not be able to understand the nuances of the technologies. He may not be able to understand various tools that is available to bring about these changes. He may not be able to understand the database methodologies that have to bring up. So therefore, it is important that you have either a digital information officer, chief information officer, or a chief technology officer who takes the mantle and who is able to work with people down the line to bring about transformation, bring about product changes, bring about adoption, etc. in the organization. So very critical. If I have actually seen now that smaller organizations, startup organizations, etc. Okay, where this is outsourced. Today, there is eCFOs, eCTOs, eCMOs, etc. available who work with multiple organizations, who work with different organizations based on their capabilities. There are organizations who have, say, like multiple technology people who sit and take up work with different organizations and bring about the changes. So lots of outsourcing and contracting happens. It is not mandatory that you need to have all these people in your roles. At the same time, it is important to know that you need to have somebody who is able to coordinate that within the organization, and that person or that guy or that individual is able to understand the technology, the technological changes, the technology tools, the technology implementation, the technology process, etc., etc. If he doesn't understand, you will not be able to bring in digital transformation changes within the organization. I'll say, for example, I'll tell you now. Let's say you are bringing about you're discussing, you're a technologist or a technology trainer. You want to bring about a digital transformation in the organization, and you're recommending that ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning Solution, either from Microsoft or from Oracle or from SAP or from some other parties or Zoho or somebody like that is brought up. Now, to compare that, to study that, and to see that whether that suits your organizational business model, whether that suits your organizational revenue model, whether that suits your organizational processes, whether that works in your organizational systems, etc., is very critical. So somebody is sitting in there like, oh, let us buy an ERP. That doesn't help. Number one. Number two, somebody says that, okay, let us have an ERP, and then when the boss checked up about that, it was mentioned that ERP also has a CRM solution. So the technology said, sir, the technology, this ERP also has CRM. But when somebody looked at it from a marketing perspective, when somebody looked at it from a sales perspective, they found that this CRM methods and the CRM business models are completely different from the business models that you have. You may either have to customize them, or you have to go for a completely different CRM solution and bring in a different CRM solution and integrate or connect that with the existing ERP. Now, these things are very critical. If you're entrusting these responsibilities with people, and if those people do not know what has to be placed where, and they bring about, they bring in unwanted or untested or hearsay solutions from places to be implemented, then your overall digital transformation will suffer. So you have to be very clear. The organizational study has to be done, data study has to be done, business model study has to be done, revenue model study has to be done, your end-to-end procurement to warehousing model has to be studied well. Then somebody says that, okay, this is a ERP that will suit, this is a supply chain solutions that will suit, this is a CRM solutions that will suit, this is a financial accounting solution that will suit, and these are the ways by which we can go about it. And then they say that, okay, when you bring in there, then you need to have people who can train, people who can help transform them, and then others who join up the force to see that the organization adapts in a manner that it is done much faster. So therefore, it is not a child's play. Bringing in digital transformation in organization is not a child's play. I had seen in many places, people bring in their friends, people bring in somebody from EDP department, computer department, people who bring in half-baked product, half-baked enthusiasts, and then discuss because they happen to be friends and relatives. And in the process, the whole strategy bigad jata hai. The whole strategy actually goes for a toss. If that is what you're going to bring about, then your organization will not, the organization that you consult, the organization that you train, the organization that you transform will not come about in the manner that is required. So staffing is critical. At the same time, who understand the organizational requirement, business model, methodologies, tools, and also have a fairly good idea about what are all the tools and what are the solutions that is a technology solution that is available, and then bring them together and in the most effective manner to implement these solutions within the organization and do the necessary training, necessary adaptability, and the required innovation at places. And that actually brings about the wholesome change in the organization than just giving it to somebody and saying that, yeah, usko jara kar do. And if that doesn't happen at all. Now, let me also say that usko jara kar do, many people, there are, one is the type of people who are old enough and they have fairly okay idea about technology, but then they are not used to technology. The other is the type of people whose expertise are not in technologies, but they are but they add value in their own function to the organization. Now, when you bring in all these people together to find out what sort of a digital transformation that you can bring, sometimes it may not all gel together. So you need somebody who can collate, somebody who can integrate, somebody who can consult, somebody who can bring about that change, somebody who can advise, and somebody who can put in the suggestions and opinion together to bring about those transformations within the organization. See, we are talking about digital transformation in organization where digital tools and digital technologies, both incoming technologies as well as existing technologies, how to use them in organizations to bring about overall change, overall productivity, and overall profitability in the organization. Now, let us say you have a company and you looked at it, then when you went in and you found that this company's online presence is very limited, so you recommended website, you recommended online activities, you recommended digital marketing, you recommended content for the organization, you recommended social media optimization, you recommended search media optimization, you recommended all these things. Let us say that has been done, but at the same time, your organization and the people, okay, are completely unaware of as to how it works, and you're doing some changes within the organization without taking them into confidence, and without training them to do that, and without them getting convinced about the transformation that they can go about, which will bring in real harm to the organization. So digital transformation is something that has to be thought through, something that really requires experience by people to implement, and that is what I had been discussing in this case section. Yeah, what is it that we are doing these digital transformations for? Okay, increases productivity. Of course, definitely it increases productivity, improves employee experiences, make it fun for them to work, make it productive for them to work, them getting more incentives, then them getting more salary, them getting more remuneration, okay, them finding your organization as something that they can stick with in their career growth, okay, and creating a extremely competitive workforce. Because in the market outside, if you go to a market, you will see that it is a jung, it's a war that is happening. There are different type of players. There are competition, there are suppliers, there are buyers, there are substitutes, there are new products. All those are there in the market. So, and to have a handle on all of them, it's not an easy thing to happen. So you really need to manage this competitive element. And as time go by, as technology goes by, this competitiveness is becoming increasingly difficult, increasingly complex. Now, on the top of it, now we are talking about data analytics. We are talking about machine learning. We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about robotic process automation. We are talking about all those things, okay, to work on the top of it and to bring in faster, dynamic, faster changes, and therefore better turnovers, and bigger profitability, etc. to happen. So life is not going to be that easy. A company of 20 years back and a company now, a company 20 years from now, these are going to be completely different entities as far as the energy levels within the organizations are concerned. Lastly, these organizations, these institutions, these organizations, these corporates, okay, you will see massive changes happening in them. If you really go through, the Fortune 500 or Forbes 500, etc., list for the last 100 years, you would have seen many companies that come and gone. Either technology must have destroyed them, or market must have destroyed them, or their planning and their mismanagement must have destroyed them. Say, for example, look at Nokia. Just to understand, I don't want to go into Nokia and their stories, etc., but it will suffice to know that there are many companies who had been uncrowned kings in their field, later became nobody companies in the course of time. So these organizations, they come in, they be there for some time and they go away. At the same time, you also see some companies who have been there consistently there, the General Motors, the General Electricals, and the ABBs, etc. They had been there for years together. So how come these companies like General Electrical, ABB, etc., being there years together and in the top list is because they are able to manage the change, they're able to adapt the change, they're able to absorb the technology, and they're able to bring about the changes both for themselves and for the customers, and hang on to it, and coming out with newer and newer outputs and coming out with newer and newer products. So these changes to happen today, there is nothing other than technology that will actually play a major role. And that has to be understood. So now, when I teach about, when I talk about training, you are actually supposed to become training managers. I don't even know how many of you are in what training, whether you are in HR training, whether you are marketing training, whether you are in finance training, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a government servant who is retiring and getting trained so that you can start training the government people later, or whether you are wanting to run a private establishment. I don't know much about it. I'm just talking to you. In fact, it's like a black box in front of me. I'm talking to you. Some faces are visible, some names are visible, and I'm doing this and going about. So therefore, to understand your profile, to understand the group profile, to understand your earnestness in learning, etc., is a little tough situation for me. So that's why I use a lot of generic inputs in telling that, okay, if you may be a language trainer, you may be a HR trainer, you may be a consultant, you may be a sales trainer, you may be a coach, you may be a mentor, you may be a professor. I don't know. So all those type of people may be there, even though out of about 150 odd people, only 23 people are there in front of me. Okay. So I really do not know your profile and your concentrated areas. So therefore, I can only generically speak about telling that today, if you are not digitally conversant, and please understand, then now in the next this is practically the end of our module 1, and in the module 2 we will be speaking about people of different generations and how because today if you look at it, you go to a company to train or you go to a company to transform, there may be people who are about in their late 50s or early 60s. There may be people who are in their late 40s. There may be people who are there in the late 20s. And there may be people who are very youngsters, early 20s people. Now, all these people belong to different rendering. All these people belong to different generations. And all these generations have their own characteristics marks. And all these characteristic marks actually decide about them. Say, for example, the Gen Z, Generation Z, Gen Z people that we talk about, we'll talk about it at length later in the next session or in the next module. But if you look at it, the Gen Z people are, we call them digital native. For a digital native guy, these sort of a specific training in CRM, ERP, or a specific training in technology, specific training in tools, etc. is not required because he absorb karte aaya hua hai. He had been absorbing this, uske liye, digital natives ke liye technology is a siddhi, ho gaya, mil gaya. So he may not require too much of a training. But the same thing, a 60-year-old guy, if you want to train him on, let's say, if you want to train him on CRM, if you want to train him on HR, if you want to train him on digital marketing, etc., you'll find it extremely tough to get them understand because they sit with that cluttered mind. They sit with that comfort zones. They sit with that those data points which has no relevance in today's market. So if in a company you have a digital native who is about 20, 25, and you have somebody else who is at the 55, somebody else who is in the middle at 35, and these people look at things differently, completely differently. And to bring about the change in an organization where all the 3 or 4 different type of people are there, it is not an easy task. So training, whenever you say the training or transformations that you want to bring about in organizations, it is not that easy. And to understand that, and also there is another problem, my dear friends. This is my corporate experience. I had actually, for 15 years, I worked in HCL and Hewlett Packard, and for 25 years, I was an entrepreneur. And I built up about 5 companies in the area of system integration, software development, distribution, RFID and barcode. And then the last of mine was actually in mentoring. Okay. Now, if I look through the sort of things that I had come through, and if I look at the audience that I am now talking to, many often I myself think that where am I? Who am I talking to? Sometimes, I'm not able to decipher, or I'm not able to mark out and make up what sort of a communication is actually somebody is giving me, and what sort of a medium that is communicating to me, and how he's sending me this communication. So it is a very, very tough proposition, and particularly with multiple generation people working in organization to bring about transformation. But it's a tough task. So many of you may think that, okay, training is good, but training to bring about transformation and training to bring about digital transformation is not an easy task. So I think you have to be very serious about the whole exercise. Your learning processes has to change. Your understanding has to change. Then you may also need team to decipher and learn and teach you, so that you can go in terms and consult and bring about those changes. So not an easy thing, but ho to sakta hai, because we are living in a world of microseconds and nanoseconds. So things happens in that frequency. That is where things. Now, digital transformation. What is next? Questions, test your knowledge, etc. Now, I would talk about. I had already talked about this company. Okay. Now, I will once again discuss about them and close this class with that. That would be the end. I'm sure. I see, my dear friends. I really do not know who is sending you these course materials. I do not know whether you have received the course materials. I do not know whether you have received the presentations. I'm not going to get into any of these things. That is not my job. Okay. I am just going by a content delivery in the manner that I'll be able to convince and make you understand. You have to really catch hold of this ISTD people. I understand there is this lady who had joined called Usha Murlidhar. Okay. Go after her to see that you get your content, you get your books, you get your text, you get your graphics. Please do not go after me to say that I want this and I want that. I am only good at explaining those scenarios to you and making the class in a manner that is decipherable or understandable for you. Okay. So let us be very clear on that. And secondly, I have told the National President of ISTD as well as the course coordinator that I will only be taking the first 3 modules, because I have so many other activities. Look at, say, being an ISTD, I thought this is the best that I can do for ISTD. I'm not speaking with any hubris, or I'm not speaking with any ego. I'm saying that this is what is possible by me, and therefore I am actually confessing to you that this is the best possible from my side. Okay, but go after ISTD people to see that you get the content, you get the notes, you get the PPT, and you get all this. So let me now finish our class. So 4 to 5:30 is a class that is given. Now the time is about 5:19. We could make it faster. We could clear also faster. Okay. There are some of those notes that is given to you in one. There are 3 or 4 companies that is mentioned. Okay. Now, just if you look at it, there are 2 ways that companies have undergone digital transformations. Some of the companies were born at the time of digital changes, so they don't have any legacy transformation to undertake. That is, typically speaking, a company which is germinated in the year, let's say, 2050. And now we are talking about, sorry, not 2050, a company which is 1950. So 1950 to 2024 now, 74, 75 years. Okay. Now I'm 100% sure that when they started Things were never like this. It was at a easy pace. Things were going, and the business was happening in a manner without much of competition, without much of marketplaces, without much of strategies, and with limited entanglements, etc. We are now talking about a world where everything is available everywhere. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Every product can be sold to anywhere. Okay. Every solution can be taken in and implemented anywhere. Anybody can transfer money to anybody. Okay. Any bank can transact with any bank. That sort of a scenario where everything is so dynamic and everything is so online and everything is so real time. So you're looking at a scenario where everything is so real time. So now just look at a company. Let's say now I will just take a company just for the sake of it. Now L&T, Larsen and Toubro, which was actually a contracting company to begin with. Okay, they have been making bridges, roads, buildings, commercial establishments, and the like. Okay. Now look at the Larsen and Toubro of yesteryears and the Larsen and Toubro now. Today, Larsen and Toubro owns IT. For example, this what is it? Very important company that was started by Ashok Soota. I forget the name. I think some of you can actually help me with the name. Larsen & Toubro also has become an IT company now. That is something that, so Larsen & Toubro is not only a contracting company. Larsen & Toubro is not only a manufacturing company. Larsen & Toubro is a solutions company. Larsen & Toubro also is an IT company. So what sort of a transformation that they had gone to? But within Larsen & Toubro as a contracting company, then and now, look at the changes that they must have gone through. And I'm 100% sure, that digital transformation must have happened at least 80 to 90% in Larsen & Toubro for the company to be so today. Digital transformation must have happened the parental body of Larsen & Toubro to the extent possible that they are able to own IT companies today. Okay, and they're able to implement IT today. They're able to do manufacturing today. So now look at the transformation that L&T has actually brought about within itself. Now you look at many other companies which has been there, they withered away. They closed down because they could not actually. I will tell you some names. See, when the public sector undertakings were really doing big, there were companies like ITI, Indian Telephone Industries, Bharat Earth Movers Limited, BEML, Bharat Electronics Limited, Central Electronics Limited, Semiconductor Complex Limited. They were all huge, big-time companies. They investment to the tune of 10,000, 5,000, 10,000 crores of rupees has gone through. Where are all these companies today? Just look at it. Why? Because they were not able to change with the changing times. They were sitting with people who are politically connected. They were sitting with people who have been sitting on status quo. They have been sitting with people who are unwilling to learn. They were sitting in their own comfort zones. And look at the status of those companies. So now, if you take Larsen & Toubro as a private company, how much they have grown over the period and how much of digital transformation that they have gone into that organization, vis-a-vis these companies that I have mentioned, I will once again name the ITI, Indian Telephone Industries, Central Electronics Limited, Bharat Electronics Limited, Bharat Earth Movers Limited. They were all companies, big companies of yesteryears. Now, where are they? And that is in the public sector. In the private sector also, there have been many companies which has come in and gone. You just look at many of those manufacturing organizations in the private sector who wound up. Okay, why? Because they were not able to manage the change. They were not able to go through transformations. In their times, there was no digital transformation. Please understand. They were not able to undergo the market transformations. They were not able to undergo the HR transformation. And they were not able to undergo the business transformations. Okay, that is what happened to them. And where we are comparing with a company called Larsen & Toubro, where they have undergone that transformation very effectively. And similarly, there is this company I have already talked to you about that is called what do you call Domino's. 1960s company. So I'm 100% sure that they would have had a limited market. Their process efficiencies must have been very little. Okay, they must be actually supplying to people who are coming in and buying, or they must be delivering items by scooter, car, etc. And they must be taking orders on telephone, and they must be taking orders on printed media. This thing. But today, you look at same Domino. Domino is actually delivering a pizza. Okay, through this thing. What do you call drones. Domino's are actually delivering pizzas through autonomous cars. Domino's are able to take order from any devices that is there. Okay, it is not only phone, it is not only smartphone, it is not only computer, it is not only website, it is not only oral phone. Domino's, any platform you can place orders with Domino, and there in any platform you can actually track them. Today, a company which is nothing but a physical company, has transformed into 100% digitally transformed company. And you can read about the company. You can go to the website and talk about the history of the Domino. And also, there is another one which I wanted to take to you, which is a company which is not that, which was not born in the Esther years. That is called Netflix. Okay, Netflix made pictures available usually through the physical route. Now where they are now. So that company, but at the same time, please understand that Netflix was born in the time of technology, and they adopted technology so well to become a digitally transformed company. So digital transformation in Netflix is much easier as compared to digital transformation in Domino. Okay, but there were companies like Domino's of the world who have been able to happily change to matching with the weights and matching with the technology and matching the market requirements and matching with the customer requirements of now. And that is actually we need to understand about digital transformation. Thank you, my dear friends. I'm sure I was not able to listen to any one of them because there is some challenges in the system. So I don't know whether it is my system or whether it is a Zoom, but you have been kind to listen to me, and some of you had sent Mindtree. Okay, very good. That is L&D has bought over Mindtree. Thank you very much, Tamil Selvan. So nice of you. You know, old man sometimes forget names just like that. So that's about it. Wish you a good time, good evening, and wish you nice times ahead. We may meet. I'm told that next 24th Sunday, I may have to take 2 classes, one to compensate my last class that I missed, and another class that for continuing with this. So probably if I get that 2 classes, I can complete that module 2. That's about generational shift that is happening, and we'll do it there. Can some of you just quickly give me a chat saying that how did it go so far? Just now. Thank you is fine, but be critical, man. Just be critical and tell me how are you able to learn this, or whether I was useful in getting it into your mind or getting it into your, what do you call, brain. Just give me some feedback, please. Hello, Vishudeep, Reza. Examples are relevant. Thank you. Vishudeep,
Sir,
thank you. Okay, Lavanya.
Keep it.
Oh, very good. Okay, fine.
Are you able to hear?
Suraj, so nice of you. Thank you so much. Since you have not been able to talk to me and you are able to relate, sir. Apurva Mishra. Thank you. So, mera din ban gaya, mera sham ban gaya. Thank you very much. Wish you happy times ahead. See you next week. Bye.